Very good.
Here, and I'm accompanied by my buddy Mike. Say hello, Mike.
Hey, hello.
Hey. So what we're doing right now, I was trying to get in this demo to play this on as we're talking, but being a demo and there's so few bugs in the system, I am unable to get in. But after many attempts, Mike was able to get in, so that's why I'm viewing him on Mixer right now. So he'll be playing while I'm talking and kind of going over our thoughts so far of the game. So we put a few hours in of playing the demo. I mean, we've been waiting for this game for like 3 years, so we already kind of knew a lot going into it. But now that we actually got to start playing it, and we got to, you know, figure out what we like, what we don't like. And I wanted to start with just the fact that even with how small the map is for this demo, we have really enjoyed just how vast the entire world is. I mean, you see these faraway places and you're like, oh, that's just the outskirts of the map, but then you actually go over there and you're like, wow, this is actually part of this map. So even in just the demo, which just uses a very small part of the official map, already we feel like we're in this insanely huge world that we're able to explore. And I love the fact that the entire world looks like you're in the movie Avatar. I mean, it's very alien-like. It makes you want to just venture around and find enemies and look around. Going on with that too, one of the things we really like is the fact that if you don't want to go on an expedition, you can easily just go about and free roam however you want and just find enemies and attack, or pick up consumables and loot and test out your weapons. So those are some things we really enjoyed. Some of the things that we were kind of not sure about is when you're with teammates, trying to find your teammates if they just went off somewhere in the world is really, really tricky. And I imagine this is something that's going to happen quite often, because you might be on a team, one of your players wants to go back to the fort to test out a different weapon or to swap gear, and then when they come back into the world where they're nowhere near their teammates. Normally when we play games like Borderlands and whatnot, there's a mini-map that clearly shows which direction you have to go and to find your teammates. The mini-map on this one is basically, well, it's not existent, and the compass, as cute as it is kind of pointless. The compass never shows where your teammates are, and it's especially would be useful if, let's say, your teammate is down. You have no idea that they're actually down until they tell you, hey bro, I'm down, can you help me? And you're also not able to find, if they find like really good loot, for instance, you're not able to find that on like a mini-map. The only way you can go about actually finding stuff is for you to click the start button, pull up your map, and then on the map it will show everything. The problem with that is when you're trying to travel fast and find your teammates, you're going to be flying when you want to open your map, and that's going to be, using up your thrusters, and you're not going to be maybe going the right way. So basically what you have to do is you have to go in a direction that you think you have to go to find your teammates, go back on the ground, open the map, take a look, and then go fly again. And eventually when you're within relatively close range of them, you'll be able to actually find out where your teammates are. But that's kind of one of the little nitpicks that we had on the game. Mike, do you have any other comments regarding just like the world, the maps, any thoughts in general so far?
I mean, really, there's so much on here, so much to do. Even, I mean, you can see just from me running around, I could go right from combat just to exploring in general, and it's a fun environment. There's all the living elements. It's really fun to play.
Yeah. So one of the big things that we really like about this game is just how fast the combat is, and how interactive and just fluently the controls are. I mean, one of the things that really bums me out with, I'm going to throw Dead Space 1 out there, for instance. When you're attacking, let's say you are in the middle of reloading and you're trying to like shoot and stuff like that, the game cannot register your button clicking fast enough. It's like the way you play some games is that you have to wait until your character completely finishes an action before going on to the next one. And that's something that you don't see with Anthem. Every action and control that you put into the game your character is going to do that action. And if he's in the middle of something, he will stop doing that thing. For instance, let's say you go to reload and then you realize, oh crap, you're getting attacked. Well, mid-reload, you can decide to cancel reload by running away, and your character will just start doing whatever the newest action is. So the mechanics of this game are phenomenal and very fluent and work together very well. What I wanted to add to that, though, was I think the controller layout is quite confusing. I'm actually going to pull up an image of it here. One of the things that I don't really understand or like is they wanted you to be able to use the right toggle for hover, which is fine and dandy. I don't mind that, except for that toggle is normally what you use for your melee attack. Your melee has now been moved to Y. That's very unintuitive. And now Y cannot be used for switching weapons. You hold, not click, but you hold X for your weapons. So all that kind of is very unintuitive, and what I think is what I really don't like. Mike, can you press LT for me? Oh, in mid-flight?
Yep.
Perfect. Notice all he did was press LT, and he is now hovering exactly the same way like you would if you pressed the right toggle. So I think what they could have done is, let's make LT your hover. And I think, actually, now that I think about it, probably 50% of the time, maybe even more than that, whenever you hover, it's going to be you flying into an area where there's enemies, and then you're going to start attacking by pulling out your gun. So I think most of the time, to hover, you're going to be pressing LT anyway. So I'm like, let's just get rid of the hover with our RS, or your right toggle. Save that for your melee, and then now that you're using that for your melee, Y is now freed up for switching weapons. Or if you really want to make it tricky, make the D-pad switching weapons, because right now your D-pad, the only button you utilize, I believe, is the up button for your specialty ability, but you can use left and right now for your switching weapons, or make up and down switching weapons and make left or right your specialty ability. So I think there's some changes that could be made to the controls, for sure. We did discuss the fact that maybe what they'll do is in the real version you'll be able to modify your controls, which would be really nice. But if they don't do that, you know, it's just going to be you having to get used to it, for sure. My other complaint with that too was I don't like how when you're flying, to initiate flight, you have to jump with A and then start your flight, and then to cancel, you press A again. Well, almost every game that I play, whenever you're going to cancel anything, you press B. And right now, they use B for your dodging attack. Here, Mike, can you do some dodging for us? Yeah, there you go. So, let's see. All right. So, yeah, there you go. So there's the way he's pressing B to do these dodge attacks, which are great and all, but if you're in mid-flight, your A button just drops you down. But I'm saying, well, if B is going to be your cancel button, then A is useless. So I'm thinking what they should do is make it that A is your jumping and your dodging moves, and B is your cancel, like in every other game. So it would make it a lot more intuitive to other games. Mike, do you have any other comments regarding the controls or the fluidity of the game?
No, you hit the nail on the head. No, I mean, it is more complicated. I will say though, after playing it for a little while, I am quite used to it. I believe it could definitely be improved. Or like we said, at least give players the option
That's trouble. Push them
to switch things up.
Hey Mike, do you want to try your specialty ability to show it out?
Oh, definitely. Let's find ourselves some targets. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, I can get both of those guys.
You got a massive 2 or 3 there. Just, you know, while we're doing this, I kind of want to show the mechanics of being the ranger here as well, so people get an idea. And this is helpful too. As you see, enemies are dropping health packs and ammo packs. Those are something that you want to constantly be picking up throughout this game, because they'll be very helpful. One of the things that I really like on this game too, talking about the stuff that's being dropped, is when there's loot being dropped, like weapons or gun parts or whatever.
Like this?
Yeah, if he runs that over, it's going to disappear. But if I was his teammate right now, that would not be disappear. It would not have disappeared on my screen. And what they're doing there is Mike can go and pick up everything that he sees, and I can go and pick up everything I see, and we both get everything. And this makes it that you don't have a situation where when loot is falls down, that one player just runs around, steals everything from all the other players, and then they have it. So this is a very nice, fair system where teammates can work together. They all just be greedy, but in the end, everyone gets all the same stuff. And I really like that in this game. And when I say same stuff, I mean there's going to be, like, I think what we've seen is Mike and I will both pick up, like, a common object like he did there, and his common object will be different than mine, but in general, they're still the same. But no one knows what it actually is till you get back to the fort, which is something I like, because then everyone can focus on the game until they get back to the fort. One of the issues that we've brought up that we don't like is that you find an item, you equip it when you're at the fort, inside the forge, and then you go back out into the real world and you realize, wait a minute, I don't actually like this thing. We really would have liked if there was some kind of firing range where you can grab a weapon and test it while you're at the fort, rather than having to go back out into the world, try it out, realize you don't like it, come all the way back, because the loading screen does take a while. I mean, it is just a demo, but I imagine it's still going to take a while in the real game, for sure. On top of that, too, one of the nitpicks I had was I had two weapons. I had a Seeker rocket launcher, and I had had Venom darts. And the Venom darts said they do 65 damage. Oh, Mike, careful there. The Venom darts said they did 65 damage, and the rocket launcher does 500. Well, are those equivalent? I don't know, because the darts, obviously if they're Venom, they're going to be doing corrosion, like they're going to be eroding away and doing more damage over time. But the game doesn't tell you how much damage it's doing over time and for how long. So when I see Venom darts at 65, I don't know if that's actually more powerful or less powerful overall than the rocket launcher. So I feel like they got to take up, you know, take a little advice from the Borderlands guys, where they would literally say, oh, if you're doing Venom, it's going to do 65 damage per second for 5 seconds. And then you can say, oh, well, yeah, okay. That is or is not as powerful as just a rocket launcher at 500. So that's one other mechanic that I think they could add to the game that could really help us out.
You have to stop that scar, the fancy one.
Mike, do you have any other comments?
No, I think you're pretty much right on the head.
Alright, I'll go right to the next one. One of the things that I do really like in this game is the fact that your most powerful weapons are all the specialty ones that you see Mike has all of right now and is not utilizing any of them.
Yep.
Well, we're thinking actually, from our experience, we'll see how the game changes as we go on when we start upgrading and getting newer weapons. But so far, it seems like your specialty ability, which is the one that if you press up on the toggle right now, you'd be able to try out. We know for a fact that is by far the most powerful one. But for the second most powerful, I'd almost argue that the melee is more powerful, because so far this game has surprised me a lot. The melee attack is immense. Here, Mike, can you melee this guy for me? Yeah, like you see, he was shooting that guy for a while, and then one melee took out like a quarter of his health. And one of my favorite things to do in this game is to fly up at an enemy and then press melee right over them. Yes! Perfect, Mike. So that is one of my favorite attacks. It disorients the enemy, and it's a way for you to be out of range and then just fly into range real fast and take them out. But I'm just very impressed by the melee ability in this game. And then all your other specialty abilities in general are way more powerful than your weapons. When I say weapons, I mean your two like assault rifles or your two main weapons, which you can only hold two, by the way. And what's also really nice is all of your specialty abilities, they use just the toggles and the bumpers, so they're easy access, and they are unlimited ammo. You just gotta wait for them to recharge. So I feel like there really is no reason for you to be using like your sniper rifle, your assault rifles, or any of those, except for when you're waiting for your specialty abilities to reload. It also makes it nice too that if you're attacking enemies and you run out of ammo, well, you just can keep using the specialty abilities only, and just wait until one of them drops an ammo. I wouldn't say crate, it's like an orb, ammo orb. And other nitpicks, later on we'll be trying to get back into the fort. There's kind of two main places to go to in the fort right now. There's the forge and the vault. The forge being the little terminal you go to actually upgrade your javelin. And then there's the vault, And as far as I can tell, the vault is literally just like a trophy room, a storage room for you to be able to see all of your loot that you've been collecting. But you can't actually do anything in it. So I kind of not understanding the purpose of the vault. It seems like everything you can do from the forge, because the forge is where you actually equip your stuff and you can see what are all the weapons and abilities that you have. So I'm so far not really understanding what the vault's for, but one thing I really do like about the vault is the fact that anything you collect, guns, ammo, consumables, grenade mods, all of that stuff can be used on any of your javelins, so you can kind of swap between javelins willy-nilly, and you don't really get, you know, deducted or have to start from scratch. You really can just kind of pick up where you want. You're like, oh, I want to be a Colossus today. You can just go equip your Colossus with all the stuff you're using with your, like, Ranger, for instance, and then you can just change it right up. So that is something that I've been really enjoying and would like to get more aware of as the actual, you know, game comes out on February 22nd.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, I can always, if you need to, I can always go back to Fort Tarsus now and get a look around.
I think
we're the incredibly slow movement.
Yeah, this is something we brought up before too. The oh, and this is kind of cool. What Mike's doing right now is actually just running around and harvesting materials. And what you use those for is when you get to the forge, you can pick up blueprints. So you actually, I'll show this. Like Mike, I took video earlier, so I'm just gonna overlay right now the video that I took earlier. But when you're in the forge, you can scoot over to your craft area, and you can pick up blueprints for any of the guns that you have, and you can basically craft your own weapon using these materials that you collect when you're in this map. And it'll actually let you have the choice of, okay, I wanted you to use a sniper rifle, an assault rifle, a pistol, and then do I want it to be a common, an uncommon, a rare, or an epic one. So basically, the higher level it is, the more powerful it is, but at the same time uses more of these materials, these things that you find around the map. And the other complaint we have about the fort right now is that you cannot run in it. It is the slowest moving thing on the planet. Your guy literally walks as if he needs medical treatment because his leg shot off or something like that. So I do wish that they had some kind of ability to move at least a little bit faster throughout the fort. And right now the fort seems like it has a good amount of stuff that you can do, and it's pretty big from what I can see. I mean, it does take you like 3 hours to walk around it, and there's only about maybe 40% of it that's unlocked right now. So I think there's going to be a lot of abilities and stuff that you're going to be able to do when you're going around the fort. And on top of that too, I want to also add that we like, from what we're seeing from the demo, it looks like your team can be on an expedition. And then if you want to switch weapons, you can by yourself go back to the fort, do what you need to do, and go right back into your expedition with your crew in the world. So it's not like in Borderlands 2, for instance, where when someone wants to go to Sanctuary, everyone has to go, the whole team. This looks like everyone's kind of independent and can do their own thing. So that's something I really like about this game. And it's kind of interesting that it seems like everyone gets their own fort. Like, it seems like you'll never be in the fort with your teammates. You'll always be kind of doing that by yourself. Man, what the hell is this thing?
I'm not.
This is something Mike and I have brought up before that we really like about this game. We like never see the same enemies twice. It's like constantly changing. And you can tell that there's a difference between enemies. Like some of the, you know, heavily armored ones, you might have to keep hitting them with explosives until something gets exposed, and then you find a critical area to shoot. Like this thing, I've never seen this thing that he's looking at, and I mean, I guess you just keep shooting it, but it's very, oh my. It's very intriguing as to like what it is or what it is in part of the storyline and the lore of the game. But it's one of these things where even in the demo, we've seen so many varieties of enemies, and they're all, you attack them in different ways, and it makes for a very intriguing and interesting game that's constantly evolving, and you never know what you're going to meet up with. And plus, too, you can get into an area where you see enemies, and you don't know if they're going to be like level 1 enemies or level 1,000 enemies. So it kind of gives it a real-world RPG experience where you don't know what you're going to be attacking. So you're just going into this world and hoping for the best. But obviously, the bigger the things are that you attack, the better the loot is, and the more players you have with you, the easier it's going to be. There's definitely a big emphasis with Anthem that teamwork is kind of the key to this game. They've mentioned many a times that your ability to level up and get equipment significantly increases with teammates. But they also made it really nice and easy that if you just want to be on a private match playing solo by yourself, you can do that as well. So I do like that they kind of give you the ability without having to... I mean, there's a lot of games that I play where you're kind of stuck with either getting all of your friends to play with you at the same time or getting in with randos. Because I know, like, we play Sea of Thieves. I never want to play Sea of Thieves playing solo, ever. But I love that game so much when we're playing as a team. So I do like that. I think this game is going to be pretty versatile for all types of gameplay.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it constantly keeps your attention.
Big time.
Plenty of stuff to do.
So Mike, do you think anything else that we kind of hit the nail on the head there, or is there any more stuff that you wanted to talk about from your initial thoughts of the game so far?
I mean, to be honest, I think we pretty much highlighted, I mean, our main talking points with it. I can't really think too much else. Other than maybe what this is, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this on for a bit. You got your specialty ability, by the way, if you need. But, yeah, I'm kind of interested. It looks like a bunch of power-ups, maybe? They're just kind of... Like, can you collect those things?
That's a good point. I'm not quite sure.
There's one echo.
Oh yeah, they're echoes. Interesting. So yeah, this is like, you know, we've been playing this game for a while and we're still confused as to like what the hell is going on. I mean, maybe they did it on purpose for the demo. They're trying to have one of everything just to kind of get people excited. But I mean, if the real deal's like this, I'm pretty interested. Oh man, you're fucked. Can't buy anything good. Yeah, I'm just kind of intrigued how you're going about this. Watch your shield there, you're almost going to be out. I'm just getting some gameplay for the viewers here, because this is... I'm curious, this is the whole thing of like, you know, obviously this is a high-level mission you got right here, so I'm interested to see how you're going to take it on.
Good. You're up an echo.
I got these multiple echoes behind me. I'm not sure what they are.
Oh yeah, they're like following you. I don't think you're doing the campaign either, so this is something else. Oh, this is something I do too, by the way, dude. Like when I'm in flight, I always cancel it with the melee because it locks on to enemies.
That's not gonna.
And you drop down faster than if you click A, because A is just kind of like, oh, cancels thrusters and you fall down. When you do melee, it's like full on just attack mode.
And I don't know what is getting, but it's overheating like a son of a...
Yeah, I think you're using your thrusters too much. I would say maybe use your dodging abilities more. Like use B more often than your actual thrusters. Because it looks like every time you go into flight too, you're exposing yourself to the air too much. Where here you're kind of hidden behind like shrubbery. Because we know bullets can't go through shrubs. Oh man, more enemies. Damn. I really wish I could get in this game with you. This looks intense.
I know, this is... trying to stick grab what I can with these echoes. Then you have that. Oh, that's what's doing it right there.
Oh, bomb. Oh my goodness. You might just need to go to cover for a sec. Jesus.
That's what's taking my...
Oh, and I will add to this
That's
game.
funny.
I've already determined you can quick scope because it does have aim lock as an option, and it's a default. So, oh no!
You know what? It's the learning mechanic. I mean, so that electrical field back there immediately overheats your system. So that's why there's nobody around. But
Damn. Yeah, and I'm still getting the black screen of death here, so I'm not going to be able to get in. So, like I said, there's bugs in the system, but I think this was really cool. We got a really good idea as to, you know, what all's going on in the game, and I think we're all going to be very excited for when the official release comes out, because, I mean, we've barely been able to ever get in this game, and I've still been enjoying, like, the 10% of the time that I'm actually playing it. So I think there's going to be lots to do. I don't think it's going to get bored, and maybe there'll even be, like, upgraded DLCs. Who knows? But that's all we have for now. We're going to sign off, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and keep tabs with us to see what all the newest and latest Anthem information is. We're going to try to stay up to date with all things Anthem, and we're definitely going to be playing it a lot for sure. So stay tuned, and thank you guys so much for watching.
thanks, guys.